So a couple of months ago, I put out a video about a playback rig and how to use it with a Play Audio 1U interface in it with Ableton, multiple computers, redundancy, shelves, fans, drawers, all in a neat and tidy rack case. And I wanted to follow it up and show you how I actually use it on the road. So this video is from when we played the Varsity in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Before we dive into the playback rig, I just wanted to give a quick rundown of everything that I'm using on the road. I've got a Gretsch Renown series kit out there with a 24x16 kick drum, a 13x9 rack, a 16x16 floor. I've got a 6.5x14 Gretsch chrome over brass snare drum, and then a side snare of a 12x6 Mark Schulman signature snare drum. I've got all Meinl Byzance Foundry Reserve cymbals. I've got 16-inch hats, a 22-inch light ride as my left-hand crash, 24-inch ride as the ride, and then a 20-inch light ride as my right-hand crash. I'm using all Evans heads. On the snare drum, I've got a heavyweight dry coated snare drum head. On the side snare, I've got a coated UV1. On the toms, I've got coated UV2s. And then on the kick drum, I've got a coated EMAD. For the reso on the toms, I've got clear G1s and then just snare side 300s for the snare drums. I'm using Pro Mark 5B extra long rebound sticks. They just feel good. They're not too heavy, but they're not too, little pencil thin toothpicks. And I get some good definition. I feel like I've got good control over everything without feeling like I'm actually pounding the drums. Regarding electronics around the kit, I've got some triggers. On the floor, I've got a Roland KT9 kick drum trigger. And then I have a Roland bar, a BT1 on the right side, and then I've got some old school PD8s on the left-hand side that I think just aesthetically look really cool. And then all of those are being run to my SPDSX. Now diving into the playback rig, you can kind of see it's pretty similar to what we had in the original video. I've got the two computers on a shelf up top. They're running Ableton, and then I've still got the iConnectivity Play Audio 1 unit in there. But something that I have added is another shelf where my Roland SPDSX lives, and I essentially just use that as a brain for all of the sounds because I now have Ableton controlling the SPDSX via MIDI, changing the patches per song. So now I don't have to think about, if the set list changes, creating another kit chain inside of the SPDSX. It just is there. It works. Whatever song we're on, that's the patch. And then everything is connected via 1/4 inches for the triggers. And then the outputs then go into all of the I/O boxes that the audio team has inside of this rack as well. So regarding redundancy, I'm also using a program called AbleSet, which can control both computers, and it connects them over Ethernet using one of their protocols called AbleNet. And essentially you just connect them via Ethernet. You can either use a switcher or you can use a router. I've got a router because what makes this even cooler and more flexible is now that they're connected via Ethernet without internet, as long as you're on the same network, you can tap into each computer's IP address and now control the set from your phone, from your tablet, from another computer. So for example, when we start the show, I have a third computer that's hardwired off stage, and I can start the show from that position. And when we do the acoustic set, I can trigger the click track from off stage. When we come back out for the encore, should the crowd ask for one, I can trigger the encore from off stage. And it just makes everything so much more seamless, so much more professional, and it just makes the show feel like $1,000,000. Right now I still use IAC drivers to jump from song to song, but with AbleSet you don't even need to do that. You just put in your markers, and then based on how you label your markers, you can say jump to the next song, or jump to this song, or you're gonna stop, or you're gonna jump to the next song and then stop, wait for me to cue it. It's got so many different options, and it's great because everything is linked together. So it just essentially just gives me so much more flexibility when controlling the show, and if there's any last minute changes, if we need to skip a song or add a song, it's all right there. So I just use a single master file inside of Ableton and then create set lists from there. And then it doesn't matter where I am in the set, Ableton knows how to change the SPDSX settings. Time code is always there, it doesn't matter, and it's just a really cool feature. So if you're looking for more control over your Ableton set, I highly recommend AbleSet. It's so easy to use, and the guy who created it, this guy named Leo, he's got a Reddit forum or some sort of Discord or something where he is so active, he can respond to any questions, and he's constantly updating this thing. And it's cheap. It's $150 activated on 2 computers, and then you're good to go. So with that, I hope that this has been semi-informative. If you've got any questions about playback rigs, please reach out, DM, message me, whatever, and I'll answer to the best of my ability. Here's to more videos in the future. Appreciate y'all's support. See you soon.